So let us begin the second part of the term with this topic, okay, consumer protection. So this involves Republic Act number 7394. Okay, this is called the Consumer Act of the Philippines. It was approved in April 13, 1992, or kailan na siya? Almost 20 years ago. Okay. So these are the reasons behind this act. These are the reasons why this law was enacted or was passed. Number one, okay, the state or the Philippine government wants to protect the interests of the consumer. Number two, to promote the general welfare of the consumer. And number three, to establish standards of conduct for business and industry. Okay, so ganito class. Imagine nyo na lang, sa Pilipinas, okay, maraming tao, maraming citizens, and then ang mga businesses may nagbebenta ng kung ano-ano, okay, na binibili ng consumers. Okay. As the government is duty bound to protect the people, okay, so dapat i-regulate ng government yung mga products na binibenta dito sa atin sa Philippines, to make sure that yung mga binibentang products are not harmful to the citizens. Okay, dapat hindi siya nakakalason, hindi nakakamatay, hindi nakakasira ng kalusugan. Okay, trabaho yan ng gobyerno na i-protect yung citizens, who are the consumers. So that is why this Consumer Act was made into law for these 1, 2, 3 reasons, particularly on the protection of the consumer. That is why we are calling this subject consumer protection. Okay. And also, hindi lang consumer, kundi also to establish standards for the conduct of business and industry. Okay. So para mag-outline din ng mga do's and don'ts for the businesses, the businessman. Okay, on what to do in order to protect the interest and the general welfare of the consumer. So in general class, okay, itong Consumer Act is the government saying, okay, businesses, yung ibebenta niyo, yun lang pwedeng i-consume ng mga tao. It should be not harmful to the health, to the health of the people as a whole. Okay, so ito yung objectives. Okay, so kanina yun yung reasons, ito yung objectives ng batas. Okay, to protect against hazards to health and safety. Okay, so ito yung objective ng batas. Then to protect against deceptive, unfair, and unconscionable sales acts and practices. Okay, to provide for the information and education to facilitate sound choice and the proper exercise of rights by the consumer. Okay, provisions of adequate rights and means of redress. Involvement of consumer representatives in the formulation of social and economic policies. So the objectives, okay, while I do not advise you to memorize this, just know the intention really of the objectives: protection of the people against health hazard, okay, and to prohibit unfair and unconscionable sales acts and practices, okay, to educate and inform the people, the consumer, of their rights, okay, giving them means of redress, saan sila tatakbo, saan sila magrereklamo kung may nag-violate, And number 5, i-involve ang consumer sa formulation ng policies. So, who is the consumer? Okay, in Article 4, Item N, the Consumer Act defines a consumer who is a natural person, who is either a purchaser, a lessee, recipient, or a prospective purchaser, lessor, or recipient of consumer products, services, or credit. So, ang consumer class are only natural persons. Okay? Yung mga tao physically na mga tao. Kasi ang corporation is also considered a person, but it is not a natural person. It is what we call a person by fiction of law. So, ang consumer, according to the Consumer Act, is a natural person. Okay? So, who is either a purchaser, lessee, or recipient. And then, take note, ang consumer products na involved dito are not only goods and services, but also credit, yung pautang. Okay, products, physical products, services, yung mga services that is offered to the consumer, kasama yun siya sa coverage ng batas, and also credit, yung pautang, kasama yun. Kasi nakukonsume din yan kasi ng mga tao. Okay, yung utang, okay, nag-utang mga tao for the purpose of purchasing consumer products and services. So, actually, ito yung assignment niyo. If you read the Consumer Act, it is a very long law. Okay, it has actually, if you summarize the sections, the articles, and the chapters there, we'll come up with this. It covers, number 1, consumer product quality and safety. Okay, in this portion of the law, the government wants to make sure that the products that is available for the consumers must be, number 1, of quality standards, maganda ang kalidad, and safe for use. Dalawa yan, quality and safety. So, ang mga involved dito na agencies or mag-implement nito are DTI, the Department of Health, and the Department of Agriculture. Number 2 is the Consumer Act also discusses food, drugs and devices, and cosmetics. Ang involved naman dito, an agency or the agency who will implement this is the Department of Health. Okay, food, pagkain, especially manufactured food. Drugs and devices, drugs yung mga gamot, devices yung mga ginagamit ng mga devices for health, like heart rate monitor, yung mga x-ray equipment, yung mga ginagamit ng mga equipment sa hospitals, sa laboratories, yun yung devices na sinasabi dito. Kaya under pa rin sa DOH. Cosmetics, lahat ng binibentang cosmetics, tinitingnan ng DOH if di ba nakakasama sa katawan, sa mukha ng tao. Okay, kasi lahat ito ginagamit sa tao, food, pumapasok yun sa tao. Gamot, pumapasok sa tao. Devices, although hindi siya pumapasok sa tao, nagtatouch o nag-involve siya ng outer physical attributes or the outer physical appearance of individuals or consumers. And then cosmetics, pinapahid yan sa skin. So, involved on DOH niya to make sure that they are these products which are available to the public must be safe and of quality standard. Number 3, hazardous substances. These are substances which are not food, drugs, devices, and cosmetics. The DOH pa rin ang may assignment dyan na mag-regulate. Hazardous substances, examples, alcohol. Okay, ano pa ba? Acetone. Okay, these are not cosmetics, these are not drugs, these are not food. So, lahat ng hazardous substance which are not food, drugs, and devices, and cosmetics, nag-fall siya under number 3. Number 4, protection against deceptive, unfair, and unconscionable sales acts or practices. Okay, so dito sa portion na ito, ang DTI naman ang in charge to make sure na yung mga negosyante does not resort into or does not use deceptive, unfair, and unconscionable practices in selling their products. Okay, so binabantayan niya ng DTI. Number 5, regulations of practices relative to weights and measures. DTI naman ito at saka yung mga local treasurers. Local treasurers meaning, sa province is the provincial treasurer, sa city is the city treasurer, sa municipio is the municipal treasurer. Sila yung nag-regulate ng relative ng weights and measures. That is why paminsan-minsan ang city treasurer will go to the public market. May dala silang 1 kilong bakal. Tapos tinetest yung mga kilohan. Kung talagang 1 kilo yung reading doon sa kilohan ng mga nagbebenta. Okay? So, DTI naman ang mag-determine kung anong measurement ang ginagamit, whether metric, kung anong klase, kilograms. Okay, so sa DTI pa rin yan. Yung actual na pag-measure and pag-weigh, it's the local treasurers. Take note class, and yung number 1 at saka number 4 may 3 asterisk na green. Ito naman, number 6, consumer product and service warranties. Meron din 3 asterisk na green. In charge naman dito, DTI. Okay? Because remember, under your civil code, meron tayong, sa sales, meron tayong warranties, express warranties, implied warranties, warranty against hidden defects, warranty against eviction, and so on and so forth. Yung mga warranties na yon, okay, sa negosyo, nagbibigay sila ng warranties, binabantayan niya ng DTI. In case na nag-claim ka ng warranty, tapos hindi sila nag-follow sa rules ng warranty, ayaw nila i-replace yung warranty, okay, pwede ka magsumbong sa DTI. Yan. Number 7, labeling and fair packaging. Okay, nandito yung proper labels. Okay, yung mga goods, may requirement yan kung anong nakasulat sa likod. Sa labels. Okay, ang in charge ng DTI and DOH. DOH pagdating sa mga drugs, cosmetics, food, DOH yan. Ay, makita mo sa advertisement, nakasulat doon. Hindi gamot at hindi ginagamit sa gamot yung supplement. DOH ang nag-require. Okay, so sa labeling and fair packaging. Meron din siyang 3 asterisk. Number 8, liability for food, for product and services. DTI ang in charge niyan. Okay, kung anong habol ng mga tao in case na the product or the service is not appropriate for consumption. Si DTI ang nagbabantay. Number 9, advertising and sales promotion. DTI and DOH ang in charge. DOH when it comes to drugs, advertising and sales promotion of food, drugs, manufactured food, drugs, and devices and cosmetics. DOH ang nagre-regulate niyan, nagbabantay niyan, nagre-require ng mga kung ano ng requirements. The rest, yung mga products, DTI ang nag-re-regulate or nagbabantay. Number 10, regulations of repair and service firms. DTI ang in charge. Number 11, consumer credit transaction. While na-mention siya sa Consumer Act, actually, under RA 3765, the Truth in Lending Act, si Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, more particularly the Monetary Board of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, is in charge of making sure that the people, okay, will have a fair credit transaction. Okay, i-disclose lahat doon ang charges, interest, and so on. Sa Truth in Lending Act. Okay, now, yung may 3 asterisk na green, yun lang yung included sa CPA Licensure Examination Syllabus and TOS or terms of specifications. That means we will only discuss as we go along yung mga merong asterisk. Okay? The first one is consumer product and quality and safety. Ito yung maunang topic na may tatlong asterisk. Okay, there are two aspects to this. Number one, yung quality ng product at saka yung safetyness ng product. Okay, so take note, ang in charge dito yung DOH, kung drugs, food, manufactured food, and devices and cosmetics. Si DOH ang may bagbabantay doon. Okay, si Department of Agriculture when it comes to agricultural products. Kasi agricultural products class, ginagamit ng mga farmers is must be quality din ang product na pang-agrikultura because yung products ng agriculture will be later on consumed by the people. So, to make sure that the agricultural products are quality na, safe pa, okay, si Department of Agriculture ang magbabantay dyan to make sure that the farmers will not be harmed and their products will not be harmful to the consumers later on. So, to take note sa quality and safety ang i-charge, ang focus dito. Quality, siyempre may kalidad at saka number 2, safe to use. Okay, ito yung aims under Article 5 ng kung bakit binabantayan ang quality and safety ng consumer products. Number 1, to develop and provide safety quality standards for consumer products. Take note of this class, yung safety and quality standards. Okay, so yung DTI, DOH, Department of Agriculture, okay, mag-aaral din sila ng mga products. Si DTI mag-aaral about consumer products, si DOH mag-aaral about medicines and so on and so forth. Si Department of Agriculture mag-aaral lang about sa agricultural products. Ang purpose naman nun is to determine, gagawa sila ng standard. Example, okay, kapag ganitong product, dapat ganito ang size, ganito kalaki, ganito ang function. So, gagawa sila ng standard. And then, lahat ng product na binibenta sa market, i-compare doon sa standard. Kung ang quality ba ng product na yun is pasok sa standard. Pag hindi siya i-allow na ibenta sa market. Okay? Yun lang mga products na nakapasa sa standard. Yung standard, yung nag-develop noon, yung DOH, DTI, at saka Department of Agriculture, meron silang mga researchers dyan. Okay? Nag-determine sila ng standards. So, lahat ng products na available for sale, i-compare sa standards kung pakapasa. For example, yung pampapayak na capsules galing China. Titingnan nyo ng DOH kung papasa doon sa standard nila. Pag hindi pwede paggamit. Bawal ibenta. Okay? So, lahat ng products na existing nandito sa Philippines, yung ini-import, yung ginagawa pa lang, and other new products, dadaan dapat sa DTI, DOH, Department of Agriculture, depende kung anong klaseng product. I-compare sa standard, kapag nakapasa sa standard, yun lang ang pwede benta. Okay? Kung hindi ka kung ikaw yung negosyante, hindi papasok yung product mo sa standard, then may chance ka na i-modify hanggang para makapasok dun sa standard. And then pag na-modify mo na and then naayos mo na yung problema, you can petition the DOH, DTI, or the Department of Agriculture, depende sa product, na i-allow ka na. So, itingnan nila ulit if nakapasa ka na sa standard. Dati, hindi ka nakapasa, ngayon nakapasa ka na kasi nagawa ka ng adjustment or na-change ka ng ibang mga para mag-qualify, then saka ka papayagan na magbenta. Okay? So, may standards. May mga available doon na standards sa mga offices na yan. Of course, this is to assist the consumer in evaluating the quality and safety of the products. And then to protect the public against unreasonable risk or injury associated with the products. Okay, ang purpose ng standard is to make sure na yung mga binibenta ng mga negosyo is pasok sa standards. Kasi yung standard na yun will determine kung quality ba o safety ba ang product. So yun. So to undertake research, kaya nag-research yung mga offices na yun. for the improvement of products, and investigation into causes and prevention of product-related deaths, illness, and injuries. Okay. So, to assure the public of the consistency of standardized products. Okay, ang implementing agency dito is ang DOH with respect to food, drugs, cosmetics, devices, and substances. The Department of Agriculture with respect to products related to agriculture, and the DTI with respect to other consumer products not specified above. So, lahat ng wala dyan sa DOH, wala sa DA, nandun pasok sa DTI. But, if you read your CPA licensure examination syllabus and terms of specification, they want to focus on the DTI portion. Hindi masyado sa DOH, hindi masyado sa agriculture. Maybe because they will become accountants later on, they will be involved particularly in businesses. Okay. Then, na really more on related sa DTI. So, doon tayo mag-focus sa DTI. Okay. Pero, just to mention, sa DOH, ang involved dyan, isang Food and Drugs Administration. Kasi yung FDA is nasa under ng DOH. Okay. So, if you can see doon sa mga sa TV, sa advertisement, sa cellphone siguro, sa mga advertisement, you will see na paggagamot, cosmetics, ang involved, FDA ang nag-approve. Because yung function ng DOH na yun is ang gumagawa, FDA. Kasi under sa DOH class, marami siyang bureau under. Ang isa doon, ang FDA. Ang dati pangalan ng FDA is BFAD, Bureau of Food and Drugs. Pero nung time ni Ninoy Aquino, pinalitan niya ng pangalan. It's already called FDA, Food and Drugs Administration. Okay. Pero hindi rin na tayo mag-go deeper into that because that is not actually the focus of the licensure examination. Sa Department of Agriculture, just to mention lang, meron silang, under sa Department of Agriculture, maraming bureaus. Ang dalawa doon is Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Standards. So, may standards. Sila nag-determine. And then the Bureau of Agricultural Research. Okay. So, that is for agricultural products and fishery products. But that is not our concern. That is just mentioned in passing. Then, sa DTI, ito yung Consumer Protection Group. Or the same, sa DTI, maraming bureau under sa DTI. Isa doon ang Consumer Protection Group na may 3 bureau ang involved. Consumer Protection and Advocacy Bureau, Bureau of Philippine Standards, and the Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau. So, yung Consumer Protection and Advocacy Bureau, ito yung nag-i-inform sa public kung about sa rights, consumer protection rights. Okay. Yung Bureau of Philippine Standards, ito yung gumagawa ng standards. Ito yung naglalagay ng mga stickers sa products. Yung if you can remember, may mga ICC, PS marks sa mga products to show na they comply with the standards. Yung Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau naman, ito yung bureau na nagbabantay sa mga negosyo na hindi nagsasamantala, hindi nag-involve into unlawful practices. So, itong tatlo na ito ang hand in hand. Maybe I would ask you to watch a video dito sa Bureau of Philippine Standards. Meron video ang DTI niyan, i-forward ko lang sa inyo sa Google Classroom. So, itong mga agencies na to, insofar as consumer product quality and safety is concerned, tinitingnan nila kung ano yung injurious, dangerous, and unsafe products. Okay? Yung mga products nito, ibawal ng pag-distribute. And then, yung mga binawal can actually change their products, improve their products, and later on ask for the revocation. Kapag i-declare kasi sila na injurious and dangerous unsafe products, pwede nila i-modify, improve. And then later on, they can ask na i-revoke yung declaration para makabenta na sila. Number 3, new products should also comply with the standards set by the agencies. When I say agencies, I mean the DOH, the DA, and the Department of trade industry. So, may certification as to kung nag-conform ba o wala ang products. Okay, kaya may sticker, ICC sticker, and the PS sticker. Imported products must also comply with Philippine laws. That is why imported products, tinitingnan din kung injurious, dangerous, or unsafe. Kasi they will be treated equally with local products. So all for exports also must comply with the standards para naman hindi tayo mapahiya abroad. So the PS and ICC marks, ito yung the Philippine PS Quality and Safety Mark. So pagka PS, ibig sabihin quality na, safe pa. These are for local products, and sa mga imported products, ICC sticker ang nilalagay. Okay? This is to make sure na yung product conforms with the Philippine national standards. Okay. The second one is protection against deceptive, unfair, and unconscionable sales acts or practices. May dalawang aspect dito. Number one, yung deceptive, panluloko sa pagbebenta. Number two, unfair and unconscionable sales. Ito naman, pagsasamantala. Number one, panluloko. Number two, pagsasamantala. So, ang aim is to promote, encourage fair, honest, and equitable relations among the consumer and, of course, the seller. Then, to protect the consumer against deceptive, unfair, and unconscionable sales acts or practices. So, ang implementing agency nito, yung DTI, yung Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau nila. Ito yung nagbabantay sa mga negosyante. So, yung unang aspect, deceptive sales or product or practices, okay, where ang definition is whereby a deceptive sale act or practice is one whereby the producer, manufacturer, or supplier or seller through concealment, false representation, or fraudulent manipulation induces a consumer to enter into a sales or lease transaction of any product or service. So, ito panluloko. Nangatik ba nangatik? False representation. Concealment. Fraudulent manipulation. So, ito nanloko ng customer. Okay. So, nagbigay ng example actually, yung batas nagbigay ng example. But it does not mean na i-memorize mo. Intindihin mo lang kung ano ang nature ng pangloloko. It may be that a consumer product or service has a sponsorship, approval, performance, blah, 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 when it does not have that attributes. Number two, a consumer product or service is of a particular standard, quality, and grade, and pala, when in fact it is not. So, a consumer product is new, original, unused, when in fact it is deteriorated, altered, reconditioned, or reclaimed, or second hand. Okay, sinabi sa iyo, brand new, yun pala second hand, panluloko yun. Consumer product or service is available for the consumer for a reason that is different from the fact. Okay, panluloko pa rin. Number 5, a consumer product or service has been supplied in accordance with the previous representation when it is in fact it is not. So lahat ng sinabi ng seller dito, hindi totoo. A consumer product or service can be supplied in a quantity greater than the supply there intends. Panluloko pa rin yan. Sabi niya on hand, yun pala, hindi pala on hand. Kasama yan sa number 6. A service or repair or consumer products needed when in fact it is not. A specific price advantage of a consumer exists when in fact it does not. So ito lang examples na binigay dun sa batas. Do not memorize this. Just read through it and understand ano ba yung mga klase ng panloloko. Okay. Basta when you say deceptive acts or practice, it means panloloko sa customer, sa consumer. So bawal yan. Pwede mong isumbong sa DTI. Another example pala. Sales act or practice involves or does not involve warranty or disclaimer warranties, particularly warranty terms or other rights, remedies, obligation if the indication is false. So giving false warranties. The seller or supplier has a sponsorship over our product when in fact it does not. Okay. Yung second na aspect, yung unfair, ito yung pagsasamantala. Unfair or unconscionable sales act or practices. Okay. The law, the Consumer Act defines this as one whereby the producer, manufacturer, distributor, supplier, or seller by taking advantage o pagsasamantala of the consumer's physical or mental infirmity, ignorance, illiteracy, lack of time, or the general conditions of the environmental surroundings induces the consumer to enter into a sales or lease transaction grossly inimical to the interest of the consumer or grossly one-sided in favor of the producer, manufacturer, distributor, supplier, or seller. So ito yung pagsasamantala doon sa kamangmangan, sa pagka-ignorante, or sa lack of time to research nung seller, anong buyer pala. And then, at the end of the day, naloko yung buyer and one-sided yung transaction. Ibig sabihin, mas ang benefits na punta lahat dun sa seller, tapos ang lahat ng disadvantage na punta dun sa buyer. Pagsasamantala yun. So it is also a prohibited act, pwede mo sumbong sa DTI. Ito nagbigay din ng considerations doon sa batas, pero do not memorize this, just read through them and understand yung nature. Okay. So, pagsasamantala, when the producer, manufacturer, distributor, supplier, or seller took advantage of the inability of the consumer to reasonably protect his interest because of his inability to understand the language of an agreement or similar factors. That when the consumer transaction was entered into, the price exceeded the price at which similar products were reached affordable in similar transactions by the consumer. Okay. Number 3, that when the consumer transaction was entered into, the consumer was unable to receive a substantial benefit from the subject of the transaction, also one-sided. That when the consumer transaction was entered into, the seller or supplier was aware that there was no reasonable probability of paying the obligation in full by the consumer. Okay. Number 5, that the transaction that the seller or supplier induced the consumer to enter into was excessively one-sided. Balik-balik lang. Basta one-sided. So, lahat ng examples dito is favorable. Itong transaction na ito, yung pagsasamantala is favorable doon sa seller and unfavorable sa buyer. Merong tatlong klaseng selling schemes o selling techniques ang na-mention dito sa prohibited na mga sales acts and practices. Number 1 is itong chain distribution plans, or another pangalan niya is pyramid sales schemes. So ito yung definition ng batas. Okay. Ito daw this chain distribution plan or pyramid schemes. Okay. Bibenta ka ng product, pero yung bibili mag-invest din. Aside sa buying ng product, mag-invest din siya. So dalawang klase ang pagpera yan. Yung nag-invest siya, at saka yung nagbayad siya sa product. And then, bigyan siya ng karapatang mag-recruit ng iba. Ganun din ang gawin niya. Mag-invest yung na-recruit, and then may babayad din sa product. Okay. Ang bawal dito is yung bayad doon sa yung investment, paghati-hatian ng mga nag-recruit. Yan ang bawal yan ng pyramid. Okay. Kasi nakasulat dito sa batas. Okay. Provided that the profits of the person employing are derived primarily from the recruitment. Okay. So, kung pinaghati-hatian lang yung investment ko, no, that is a pyramiding sales schemes. That is prohibited. Okay. Kung purely products lang ang nag-move, bininta ko sa'yo, na-recruit ka ng iba, nabintahan mo rin, and then from the sales, meron kang commission, that is allowed. Kasi ang profits was derived from the sale. Ang bawal dito sa pyramid sales scheme is yung pinaghati-hatian ninyo yung investment kuno, not necessarily yung pagbenta ng product. So sabi sa Article 53, this chain distribution plan or pyramid sales scheme shall not be employed in the sale of consumer products. Pero kung ang recruit is primarily for selling lang, and then may commission ka, not on the recruit, pero yung nakabenta ka, doon ka mag commission, allowed yun. Ang hindi allowed yung maghati-hatian yung investment ko. No? Number 1 is home solicitation sale. Okay? From the name itself, okay, puntahan ka sa bahay mo at kabentahan ka. Ito yun. The law defined this. Ito yung portion klasan na sabi ng batas, ito yung mga pagbatayan ng mga consumer when it comes to unlawful activities ng mga negosyante. Okay, home solicitation sale, puntahan ka. Ito allowed ito basta may permit from DTI. Okay, so person to person siya, or by telephone, or by written or printed communication, other than general advertising or consummated at the buyer's residence or place of business, at the seller's transient quarters, or away from a seller's regular place of business. Puntahan ka talaga sa bahay mo, sa office mo, para bentahan. Yung kanina, yung pyramid sales scheme, yun ang totally bawal. Itong home solicitation sale, bawal lang siya kung wala kang permit sa DTI. So, yung magbebenta sa bahay, dapat may permit from DTI. And then, pwede lang magbenta sa bahay from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Unless yung bibentahan mo, nag-agree na lampas pa dyan ang oras. Okay? So, kung may magbibenta sa bahay nyo, you can ask for a DTI permit. Tapos, tingnan ng relo mo kung lampas na sa oras. Okay? Pwede mo sila hindi tanggapin sa bahay. Okay? Or kahit na meron sila, kung ayaw mong papasukin, pwede naman. Pero allowed lang sila magbenta if they follow the laws. Okay, home solicitation shall only be conducted by a person who has identification and authority from the principal. So, kung sino lang yung authorized na magbenta, yun lang ang pwede magbenta-benta ng sa bahay-bahay. Okay. So, pag nagbenta sa bahay, hindi pwede mag-represent o hindi pwede sabihin, number 1, that the buyer has been specially selected. Hindi dapat yan. Hindi punta ka sa bahay. Bentahan kita para lang ito sa mga few selected persons katulad mo. Bawal yun. Okay. Dapat hindi yan pwede sabihin. Number 2, ito ay survey or test lang o research lang. Hindi pwede. Bawal yan. The seller is making special offer to a few persons only for a limited period of time. Ngayon lang ang promo nito. Bawal din yun. Ibig sabihin, pag may nagbenta sa bahay, number 1, may DTI permit. Number 2, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. lang. Number 3, ito, bawal sabihin. Okay? The last one is referral selling. Referral selling is bentahan kita, and then mag-refer ka ng other person na bentahan ko rin. Yun, referral selling. Yan ang definition niya. Found in Article 4, Item BH. Okay, you can read that sa PDF. Okay. So, ang rule dyan, pwede ang referral selling. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya pwede, dapat. Pero, may situation na pwede siya. Basta may written undertaking. May agreement in writing. Na yung bawa, ako yung nagbenta. Binentahan kita, bumili ka. And then, mag-refer ka ng ibang tao para bentahan ko rin. Okay. Dapat may kasulatan na meron kang tatanggapin na compensation if bumili yung isang taong na-refer mo. Okay, kung walang masabi dito sa batas, ang referral selling, hindi pwede pag walang written undertaking na may matatanggap ka in case na bumili yung taong na-refer mo. Okay. So, lahat ng ito, yung violation, pag nag-violate ng pyramid sales scheme, nag-violate ng rule sa home selling, sa referral selling, pwede may reklamo sa DTI. Okay? So, sabi mo, Sir, bakit sa DTI? Bakit hindi sa court? Okay, dalawang portion yan. Kung mag-ask ka ng damages, you go to court. Kung mag-ask ka ng rescission, you go to court. Pero kung gusto mo parusahan yung nagbebenta, i-fine or i-prohibit from engaging into business, kung gusto mo ipa-stop yung permit, you go to DTI. So, administrative, ang tawag doon, administrative procedure yung sa DTI. Yung sa court naman is called the judicial procedure. Magkaiba yun. Pero the purposes of this, okay, for purposes of the Consumer Act, lahat ng ito isumbong mo sa DTI. Okay? Then the DTI will enforce the law. So that is the end of part 1. We will have part 2 in the next lecture.